morning. All right, so Ecclesiastes. We're going to do an actual start today. Yesterday was mostly just an overview, big takeaways. We find the word vanity in 29 verses in this book, multiple times in some of those verses, 5 times in verse 2 here, and 27 times under the sun. So Solomon is talking about all the vanity, the emptiness, that which vanishes away under the sun, on this earth, in this life, this earthly temporal life that we're living, how so much of it is just, it's all going to burn up one day. And he'll conclude this book by saying, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. And so that's what we're going to keep in light as we start here. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. So that'd be Solomon. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanities. What profit has a man from all his labor? A word that shows up 22 times. In which he toils under the sun. One generation passes away and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. The sun also rises and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it rose. The wind goes toward the south and turns around to the north. The wind whirls about continually and comes again on its circuit. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers come, there they return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot express it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear with hearing. I'll actually go all the way to 11 here. Verse 9, that which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of the things that are to come by those who will come after. And so here we have this first big section, and it's basically talking about the monotony of life, restless and unchanging. Or so I wrote in my notes whenever I taught the book. And so, yeah, but that's the idea, is that he's just describing how things just keep going and going and going and going and going. And you know what? I think that's one of the problems we're going to find. And see, again, looking for satisfaction in the earth, right? Looking for satisfaction here and now. Well, we're not going to find satisfaction in those things, because life just keeps going on and on and on. And I think one of the reasons why people are so dissatisfied today is because they feel like they're going to hit this point where everything's going to be better then. Once I get to this place, once I get to, and they're looking and they're searching and they're seeking, but because life just keeps going on and on and on, you're not going to find satisfaction if you're waiting for this thing to happen. The idea again is, what's the profit from your labor? Because you're just going to get more bills later, and you're going to have more needs later. You're going to have more wants later. He's going to say in this book that he who desires silver will not be satisfied with silver. And so this whole idea here, first off, it's actually fascinating because he's talking about the hydrocycle and whatnot, about how the rivers go into the sea and then they go back to where they came from. And so it's a continual cycle that goes on and on and on. You might think one with a very basic understanding would think that the rivers are all this water and they're flowing into the ocean. Wouldn't the ocean get more full? But no, they had an understanding back then. And maybe part of this is divine understanding of Solomon of how the hydrocycle worked and how the winds move around on a circuit and just the way the patterns, but they just keep happening and happening and happening. And he says there's nothing new. And that's the reality of it, is that there really isn't anything new under the sun. Things are different, but they're not really new. I was just sharing with some guys, we were talking about some of these great famous quotes. And I wish I could do the actual quote for you guys, but I'm going to have to paraphrase. One of the quotes was talking about how the earth has come to a place. We have finally reached the point where technology has advanced and we can now destroy ourselves with our weapons. Before, up until this point, the world couldn't kill themselves, but now it's just the fact that technology has become so advanced that we could just end it all. Second quote, talking about the disparity of the youth and just talking about how people used to have respect for their elders and people used to actually want to study. But today, the average student is disrespectful, self-centered, and rather than study their school, they'd rather go out and party and drink beer. I remember the drinking beer part explicitly. These two quotes are great quotes because the first quote about the technology of our weaponry and how we're going to basically destroy the entire world was a quote by Pope somebody, I forget which Pope, but it was dated I want to say around the year 1000 AD. He was talking about the invention of the crossbow. The other quote is attributed to some Egyptian from around 2000 or something BC. The youth, all they want to do is they don't want to do their school work anymore. They just want to get drunk. And the Egyptians were actually known for drinking beer. That's something that they have done traditionally for thousands of years. And so when you hear these quotes, you think to yourself that sounds like it could have been from today. Yep, because there's nothing new under the sun. Things really aren't changing. And it's funny because we look around and we think things are worse off than they've ever been before. But that's what the Pope thought 1,000 years ago. And that's what that Egyptian guy thought 4,000 years ago. So the point is that yes, there are signs of the times, signs of the Lord's return. But life's just going to keep going and going and going until Jesus comes back. And yes, I'm not denying we could look prophetically at certain things. And there are some things that are coming to a close end here soon, I think. But with all that said, the day-to-day life stuff, though, nothing's changed. There's still temptation. There's still a striving and desire for worldly things. And so rather than looking to all this other stuff, because it's all vanity, it's all going to burn. It's what he says, and Peter says that in 2 Peter 3. It's all going to burn up, just fall apart, vanish, roll up like a scroll, Isaiah said. So we need to learn how to be satisfied now. We can be satisfied in Christ with what you have today, who you have today, where you are today. Because if you can't find satisfaction right now, you'll never find it. Don't look off and dream of the what if and someday, if only, whenever Solomon's telling you, I chased it all and it was all emptiness in the end. Fear God. Do his commandments. This is man's all. All right. God bless you guys. I will see you guys Monday. Today's Friday, right? So I'll see you guys Monday morning and we'll continue on the book of Ecclesiastes.